This kitchen sink preset in the XFX3 is controlled through this RJM Mastermind GT 22 controller. 22 because it has 22 buttons. And both products have been on the market now for many, many years. The Mastermind even goes way back to 2012, and I've owned one since 2016. Both products are both still leading in their respective fields, and it's a mighty achievement, I think. So let's take a look at the preset in Xedit, the editor for the XFX3. This is a single preset, which that consists of mainly 2 rows. Packs an incredible array of sounds. It provides 90% of all the sounds and effects that I need to get through gigs and rehearsals. CPU is below 80%, and I've done this through carefully selecting effect types and applying some tricks here and there. There are 2 external controllers in use. One of them is controlled with an expression pedal that I can switch between wah and a whammy. And the cab block here is positioned right after the amp block, and that's because I designed this preset to be used to go direct to front of house, to studio monitors for headphones, FR monitors on stage, etc. I have a separate preset for power, amp and guitar cabinet on stage, where the main difference is the position of the cab block here. Designing the ultimate preset is one thing, but being able to control it all, well, that's a different challenge. Fractal Audio's own foot controllers, the FC6 and the FC12, let you do that, of course. They are plug and play, and they're often by far the easiest way to control Fractal Audio's processors. For the extra mile, the Mastermind GT is an advanced MIDI controller that has 22 buttons on 4 rows and large displays for each switch. It just offers ultimate control. As I said and written before, I can program it to follow my mind. There are 4 additional switches to the left, offering even more control. What can I say? I just like having everything available at my feet. And there are 2 expression pedals to the right. A CME WIDI Master Bluetooth connector at the rear connects without cables to the XFX. It is solid, it is fast, it saves cables, and it prevents MIDI noise from bleeding through the audio signal. The RGM has 2 9V power outlets on the back that let me power separate effects pedals if I need them. RGM in all those years has never stopped releasing firmware updates that adds support for new MIDI devices on the market and new features. Let's talk about the way the RJM controller works and how it can be programmed. It provides special support for the XFX and the other factory audio products out of the box. The switches you're seeing now here, they are the first page of my configuration and my main control center. A page on the RJM is similar to a layout on Fractal Audio's foot controllers. About 90 or 80% of what I need at home at rehearsals or when gigging is available right here on this page through 1 or 2 taps on a switch. The stuff I couldn't fit here is available on 2 more pages. I can press this page button up and this page up again to cycle through those pages, or I can go down with the other button. Together these 3 pages let me do everything I want. While designing and testing switch layouts like this that really work in hectic life situations can take months, if not longer. But I like the challenge and I like the process. I regard my personal configuration as the ultimate layout, knowing that it can change again tomorrow, and only on stage I will find out if it all works out as intended. Now, switching presets is usually the most important task of any controller, and I can do this in various ways. First, I can go up and down using these up and down buttons, like this, and go back again. I can pick a preset from a long menu by pressing the preset menu button here, and I'll see a range of presets presented here, and I can go up and down again by pressing these buttons here. Now, if I want to return to the previous preset I used, I can hold this button. And if I want to recall my favorite preset, my number one preset, at any time I can hold this button. Now let's talk about switching between scenes of a preset. On any page, I can switch between scenes using the bottom row switches marked purple with the active scene marked green. Let's hear them. First, the deluxe reverb. Switching to the Vox AC30. Now the Marshall Jubilee. There's a fuzz phase in the fourth scene. There's an ambient swelling sound in scene 5. Scene 6 is just a solo scene that boosts the volume a bit and adds a and at any time I can press a scene button again to undo changes that I've made. So I'm now in scene 1, I add a compressor, I add a drive, and I add a delay. If I now want to return to the dry tone, I don't have to press those 3 buttons again. I can just push the scene button again and I'm back at my stored sound. Now we've seen the 6 scenes of a preset, but there are 2 more scenes in every preset. I can reach them by pressing and holding the button here, the scene menu button, which displays a screen dedicated to scenes. All the scenes are here available at the bottom, and I can either press a scene and return immediately to the main page, or I can press a scene and stay in this menu, and this is managed by this button here, Remain in Menu. It's on now, and I'll let you hear the remaining 2 scenes. Now, on the below the purple buttons there is a piece of tape written with a marker, and some of those hold functions, which they are, I have already explained. But let me show the tuner as a last thing, and there it is. It's a little sharp, so and there it goes. Hold it again, and the tuner goes away. There's a single amp block in this preset of mine, and all 4 channels are in use. We have the deluxe verb, we have a Vox AC30, we have a Marshall Jubilee, in fracture audio terms referred to as the Brit Silver, and we have another Marshall Jubilee, and the difference is that the saturation switch is on in this channel. So I use the first 3 scenes to get to those channels, but that's not the only way I want to switch to them. I will also want to be able to switch to the M channels, without changing the state of the other effects. So keeping everything the same, just changing the amp tone. I have done this by assigning 4 switches directly to the M channels, and you'll see them here on the 2nd row or the 3rd row, depends how you count. Here's the Deluxe, the C30, the Jubilee, and the Jubilee Plus, as I refer to it, and they sound like this. This setup is similar to that of the old rack systems, where you could switch between amps or amp channels independently of other effects. Now you probably already have noticed the labels on the switches of the RJM. The RJM imports the preset and the scene titles from the XFX automatically, and it lets me assign a name or label to each channel of effect. The first line on each switch, so the top line, indicates the tap function of the switch, and the one below it indicates the hold function of the switch. I can access the hold function by tapping and holding the switch for a very short period. In some cases, holding the switch will engage an effect. If I hold this switch, the phaser is now on, as you can see on the grid in Xedit, and also indicated by the black line on the switch itself. In other cases, holding a switch changes channel of an effect block. So if I hold this switch, it directly changes to channel B, C, and D. And you're not seeing A, B, C, D, but you see the names I have assigned on the RJM to those channels. What's also possible is that I hold a switch and it doesn't directly switch to the next channel, but it pops up a menu where I can choose. So let's hold this drive switch, and you'll see a menu appear of channels A, B, and C, which have been named, labeled by me, and there's a Nobles overdrive, etc., etc. So I can push a button and either stay in this menu or return immediately to the main page. Now that we've covered the amp sounds, we can go on to the effects. I'll explain one effect in particular first, and then work my way down from the top of the main page of the RJM. Note that when a switch is all black, it means that the effect is not present in the current preset, as displayed here on page 3 of my layout. So first, the switch here, the verb PDL, which means reverb pedal delay. It's an important one because it's a plate reverb type that provides modest ambience to the dry amp sound. Fractal audio may be known for the extreme high quality of the reverbs. I'm using a simple time called echo plate. I do that for two reasons. This reverb type has a low CPU footprint, which is important to me. And it functions as a delay as well. I have assigned the delay parameters to my second expression pedal that allows me to add delay to the sound at any time. Let's hear it. Now holding the reverb switch changes the channel of the effect block. Channel B is the same reverb type but a little more intensity. Channel C also uses the same reverb type but changes it to a slapback echo. And channel D changes the type to a tube spring reverb, which is based on a 63 Fender tube reverb unit. I have more reverb options at my disposal through the Plex delay block, and the Plex delay block is indicated by the Plex switch top left at the main page, on the main page. And the type chosen there is the Plex verb, which is a large and ambient type of reverb. When holding down that switch, I can select out of two shimmering type of reverbs. Now, everybody thinks of U2, so I will not disappoint you. The second option has more intensity. And channel D is the Sirocco type of effect, which is kind of similar to the factory preset, how it's called? Velvet Sun. We have the reverbs covered now and a bit of delay as part of the main reverb. But this preset had more delay effects on tap through 1 or 2 taps at the max. First, the delay block. It provides the TC20 delay sound, the famous white sound in channels A and B, where channel A is more intense. Where channel B is more intense than channel A. Channel C uses a model of the carbon copy for slapback echo. And channel D is a lo-fi type of tape delay. Additional delay options come from the multi-tap delay block. This one here, and a default channel A, it's set to the halo, which is the Aurora delay type in the multi-tap delay block, and the halo refers to the Keeley halo pedal. Holding the switch pops up the channel select menu, and channel B, named circular, refers to the circular delay in lexicon units. I think it is. Channel C, swell. I'm using that in my scene named swell. It has a lot of repeats and it's ideal to fade in sounds. And channel D, named chorus, is the quad chorus type in the multi-tap delay block, which is based on the quad chorus in the previous generation of fractal audio units. And I like this chorus effect because it has doesn't have a lot of warble. Now the second row from the top starts with the compressor switch. To be honest, I have a modest compression needs. So a model of the Dynacomp, the simple Dynacomp suffices for me. And the specific variation, the Icono Dyno Comp, uses the lowest amount of CPU. So that's great to keep the requirements low. The next dynamic effect is the filter, of the envelope filter. To engage it, I tap and hold this switch, the compressor switch, and so I engage the filter effect. At default, the filter produces a Q-tone type of sound. Let me get the focus on the filter block here. And the other channels are an auto wah, a touch wah, and a seek wah. So I can't change the channels here because the filter is already in hold function. So to change the channels of the filter block, I have to go to a channel, page 3 on my RGM, where you can see this button. And if I hold it, the channel select menu pops up, and I can scroll through the sounds. Let's hear. And the last dynamic type of effect is swell, which refers to the volume block here in auto swell mode. So what it does is it automatically controls the attack of the note of the chord or the chord I play, so I don't have to manipulate the volume knob on my guitar myself. So let's hear it. The trim function, which you see here below swell, is something of a special utility. When I use a guitar with high output, humbuckers with higher output, sometimes I find the clean signal to be too crunchy. I have here my Sierra, let's hear it. So for that special case, I can engage this function, which switches the input block to channel B, which is exactly the same as channel A, only the level in channel B is 6 dB lower, and I'll demonstrate the difference. Instead of boosting the signal, as many players do, I trim the signal a little. It was better for me that way. We arrive at the all-important drive blocks. Before we go on, let me mention that I'm playing everything in G, because I have 2 bruised fingers, and this causes the least amount of pain. So the drive blocks, we have 2 of them, and we have 4 channels on each drive block, which makes in total for 8 drive options, which is a lot. But if CPU was ample, I would use even more. So the first drive block has these 4 sounds. It's a Nobles overdrive, used in the Nashville scene, and among professionals we have the Octavia, which is a fuzzy octave up, as used by Jimi Hendrix. We have a fuzz phase. If we're talking about Jimmy, we should mention the fuzz phase. And we have the color tone, especially made famous by Dave Gilmour. I can play like all these players, but let me go through these sounds quickly. The second drive block starts off with the clone, which is the ideal clean boost. Let me hear it. Then we get a tube screamer that has been modded. Then we have a mid boost, and I'll change to the Vox AC 30 amp for this. And we finish off with the OCD, which is a model, which is the compulsion drive in factory audio units, and it's a perfect amp in a box model to layer on a clean amp sound. We arrived at the third row of switches, and we already discussed the amp channel switches located there. But if I hold such a switch, a modulation effect gets engaged, the phaser, the flanger, the tremolo, or the vibrato chorus. So I can bypass or engage the effect here on the third row. I cannot change the channel of the effects here. For that purpose I have created page 2 here, and there you see the phaser, the flanger and the tremolo buttons at the top, which also let me engage or bypass them. And below that are the 4 channels per effect. In yellow the phaser channels, in red the flanger channels, and in blue the tremolo channels. And let me go through them quickly. For phaser sounds, I'm selecting a more dirty sound now because I want to show the flanger. And then we arrive at the tremolo in 4 speeds. Now, page 2 has no room left for the controls of the chorus effect. It's full, so to change the channels of the chorus effect I have to go to page 3, where I can switch on the chorus at the top, and it defaults to the vibrato mode. And the other modes are the dimension, the triangle and the chorus in stereo. I should mention that the dimension type, I have a very low mix of the effect because that's how I like it. Switches 5 and 6 on this row also control effects and parameters. Switch 5 with a label louder just bumps up the volume of the preset to make a solo stand out in the mix. And the hold function of that same switch controls the rotary cabinet effect block, also known as a Leslie. And by holding switch 6, the rotary switches from low speed to fast, or slow speed to fast, or the other way around. The large expression pedal controls the wah block in the preset, but if I press this button on the row, the duty of the pedal changes to the pitch block, and in fact it is a whammy now. Back to a wah. a whammy. Now what happens in the preset is when I press that switch, then the multiplexer changes the row between wah and the pitch. As soon as the pitch is selected, other possibilities arise. Let's change to page 3 of the layout. I'm holding the pitch button here for the channel select menu, and we'll see that the whammy channel is selected, and then I'll change to the virtual capo, which is down tuning. There's also a detuning mode here, also known as micro pitch or pitch detuning. There is a tap tempo button, but it's on page 3, but I can reach it very quickly. I tap down once, I'm tapping the tempo here, and I page up again, and I'm back at my main page. There's also on page 3 a cap block picker. I'm using 2 cap configurations, which recreate the sound of my real caps. I own a Port City 1x12 with a G12H 100 watts 150 watt speaker in it, and I own a Mesa vertical cap 2x12 with a Black Shadow C90 and a Electro Voice 12L in it, and here are the sounds. Finally, page 3 contains the switches to operate the looper, if the preset has a looper. I've just added one here to the preset, that's why the CPU has gone up. And if the looper is present in the preset, then these 3 buttons appear on page 3, which let me record a loop, play the loop, overdub, and undo or erase the loop. This concludes the demonstration. Thank you for watching, and remember, all the effects demonstrated are also available in Fractal Audio's FM3, FM9 and the VP4. Thank you.